Namaste, Jai Bharat. Humanism, human rights violations, man-centeredness. There are some European nations who are very particular about discussions upon humanism, human rights, humanitarian kind of things. But then, if you look at, in the sense, if you observe these humanist autochthones, including United Nations, those who make hue and cry and pomp and show of being humanists, if you look at them and observe them closely, there's something very interestingly striking that you should come across, that they are very selectively humanists. Their discussions and speeches and propaganda of humanism and human rights is very, very selective, very narrowly selective. They speak of humanism, human rights and human rights violations. This human right question itself has an epistemological problem, not ethical, epistemological problem. What guarantees you that the nature keeps man in the center apart from biblical stories? And that's an epistemological problem. For you to have back your head and understand, you won't. That's a different thing. But they speak of being human, humanitarian, human rights. But then they don't speak about the human rights of those Israelis who were attacked by Hamas. Those, whatever used to happen in Gaza. They don't speak of that. Okay. How about Balochistan? That is why I spoke about human rights. What used to happen to Balochistan? One, what's his name? Mumtaz Baluchi. One Mumtaz Baluchi. A reasonably educated person who speaks in English. Oh no, I heard him speaking in Urdu, not English. Who says that the temperature is 50 degrees out there, and the children don't have footwears. They go barefooted. So the extent of poverty in Balochistan is unimaginably miserable. That's what he was trying to say. And Pakistan had been ruling Balochistan with a puppet chief minister of the region for all these years. They don't have any infrastructure. They put everything. So Pakistan's problem is they treat Muslim Punjab, that is separated Muslim Punjab from Bharat, as their prime kind of what is it called? Special citizens. Others are second grade, third grade, fourth grade, whichever grade citizens. They have no importance. They die, their life has no importance. So the point is that to an extent that the Balochistan is neglected. The army rapes their women. Shameless people, actually shameless people. They don't think of these people have no such sentiments. I'm sure that we have stories and narratives about that, actions of these people of that area. They have no sentiments towards women. They have no respect towards women. To respect women, you look at the Sanskriti of Bharat. That's a different story, completely out of your reach. The women are abused. I don't like to use the word raped every time. The women are miserably abused and their dignity jeopardized. Children go missing, and men simply go missing. They imprison them and throw them from helicopters. That's a very, very barbaric way of killing people. Take them up in helicopters and throw them down and watch them enjoy. Watch them going down and dying, enjoying it. Now these kind of brutalities take place. About Balochistan, in Balochistan, and how they have ill-treated the Pathans. One time they opened the borders to Pathans because for all Pathans from Afghanistan coming to Bharat, the US will fund them. US had been doing this nasty business in the past, US AIDS. And they had this operation of deep state thinking that they are doing a great thing. Oh, like the Swamish chief sailed, wrote a letter to the then US President, I think Franklin P. is that you shall suffocate in your own waste. It's a long letter, very interesting letter. Please, must be available in the net. I don't know, should be available in the internet. The Americans wanted to buy their land, and the Red Indians said, we don't understand the concept of buying and selling land, air, water, etc. Very natural kind of people there. Red Indians, the original inhabitants of today's USA, America. So, the kind of atrocities that used to happen in Afghanistan, in Balochistan, there, these human rights Autochthones champions can't find any human rights violations. That's what I said, they're very selectively human rights violations. And they're very loud about their speculations about human rights violations in Kashmir. They speculate. Of course, there are human rights violations, not in the kind of Kashmir which you think, the enslaved Kashmir which is under the occupation of Pakistan. Not in Bharat. Not in Bharat. In 1990 there was an incident, several incidents. One, of course, I have one example of a Hindu whose father expired, and he is requesting the Muslim regime there for permission to take the after rites left over, that's ashes of his father, asking permission to go to Gangaji, river Ganga, to do perform the last rites. Letter is published. It's in 1990, today is only 2025. This is what happened. So, and you say there is human rights violation in Kashmir of Bharat. Of course there is human rights violation in that enslaved Kashmir under Pakistan's occupation, and Pakistan still don't have Kashmir with them. You call it as occupied Kashmir, but occupied forcefully, using religion. They think that religion can unite them, where Iqbal had gone completely wrong. But they say, you look at the jargon which they make Kashmir Benega Pakistan, because they themselves know it's not yet and can't become Pakistan. Anyway, there you talk about human rights, but you don't want to talk about human rights in Balochistan. If you have sense, if you have at least some bit of shame, an iota of shame, start speaking about human rights violations in Balochistan. How the people go missing and die. They get killed. The leaders get killed. And the people, those who are abducted by the army, used to get thrown out of helicopters down, and they have immense fun watching human beings falling down to die. You don't treat them as humans, isn't it? You treat them as objects. Lifeless, thoughtless, senseless objects. Stones and pebbles. So, these people who speak of human rights shamelessly should not do that anymore. Stop talking about human rights. Stop acting as custodians of human rights. Stop believing that you're autochthones. Through self-deceptions, you are involved in kind of self-deceptions. You don't realize that you're stupid. You don't realize how selectively you are operating your minds. If you realize, well and good for you. So we shall meet again with some other thought sometime. Till then, it's Namaste, Jai Bharat and Jai Shri Ram.